Gary, he, him, out of Maryland, this physiology that convinces so many people that they will live forever in the form of an afterlife. Gary, you are on the Atheist Experience with Phoebe Rose and Johnny P, and I would like for you to please explain what you mean by that.
Johnny P, so glad to talk with you.
Likewise, good to talk to you.
Hi, Gary.
Phoebe, nice to meet you. I don't remember seeing you on the show before. I've been
First
watching
time.
for a couple of years. You guys have helped me with my deconversion from a theist to a deist.
Okay. We're getting there.
I made a mistake. I still attend my local church. I love singing the hymns. And I feel like I've got a relationship with some sort of God. But, there goes my alarm.
Maybe that's God. Maybe that's God reaching out.
Maybe it's God asking you to explain the physiology.
Yeah, but the physiology. Yeah. I got distracted for a second by the alarm.
It happens to the best of us. So tell us about this.
There are so many people that seem to think that they're going to live forever, and I think incorrectly. And the physiology that we all share that encourages that belief is the fact that we have no experience with non-existence.
Right. It's true.
We all have, I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. Don't have a head wound. Yeah, don't be nervous.
Don't do it, Johnny. Don't do it, Johnny.
Gary, who wants to live forever?
Well, I would.
I'd love to live forever. Believe that they are going to live forever.
Okay, so let's talk about Christianity then. Many Christians, in fact, I think that's baked in. They believe that they're going to die, and either they're going to go to the good place, they're going to go to the bad place, or some of them believe that they will be obliterated from existence. Right?
Some of them believe obliterated. That's never been preached from any of my pulpits.
No. Okay.
The churches I all attend, you're going to have to live in torment, or you get to live in bliss forever.
Bliss. Yeah. But Gary, let's zero in. There's a lot of different beliefs. Some people believe in an afterlife. Some people don't. What about you? What do you believe in? Do you believe that there is some form of continued existence past the point of death?
Because I have never seen any evidence of it, no. I think I've got just a couple. The doc says I've got just a couple more years left, and I think that's going to be it for me.
Yeah. Okay. So you believe that physiology convinces so many people. So what aspect of physiology is it merely that we have no experience of non-existence? That's not physiology, is it? That's psychology. Or maybe the call screener was...
Or is it psychophysiology?
I don't know what that is.
It's like psychosomaticism.
Gary?
I think that's a physical aspect. I so wanted to talk to Shannon Q about this, but I think it's a physical aspect of our brain. It's a fact for sure that the only thing we've ever known is existence. Before we knew existence, our brains were not developed enough to understand the concept of existence. But now that we are, I think, therefore I am.
Okay.
And because because that's all I ever knew, that I believe that concept is what supported my notion that the Christianity thing, well, it must be true because I feel like I'm going to live forever. The other thing, of course, that makes us think that we are going to live forever is our horribly distorted and inflated egos. I'm too important to
one of
die.
them.
I must be going to live forever.
Gary, I'm one of the most humble people you'll ever meet.
I'm not.
But I do also have that experience where I can't really wrap my head around the idea that I'm not going to live forever. Every so often I have that realization of like, oh shit, pardon my language. This is just for a little while. I better make the most of it. I'm only going to play AAA games. I'm not going to, play solitaire. But
what's wrong
or
with
whatever
solitaire?
whatever it is that people do to enrich their lives, I'm not sure. But I want to talk about your deism. I think, why do you believe that a deistic deity exists? What's the foundation for that belief?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
That's what I'm here for.
I went to the Alcoholics Anonymous program because I needed it really bad.
Gotcha.
And they taught me that if you want to get cured of this alcoholism, you have to develop a good relationship with God. And because I was brought up in a Christian home and had been taught that, well, if you want to have a relationship with God, you need to read the Bible, I started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And the prayer and meditation also, that helps a lot. That's a nice calming effect. Mm-hmm. But the more I studied that quote unquote Word of God and actually read the book, with which so many Christians seem to want to avoid, it didn't seem very likely that these were actually the words of a God. So I guess it's been 5 or 6 years ago I started to really wonder about that. And then after a couple of years of listening to you guys on the TV, it's firmed up my belief that it's just a couple of years left for me.
Okay. You say you have a couple of years left for you, and I guess you said that twice now. You don't have to share this if you don't want to, but are you you suffering from some sort of physical malady that is going to cut your life short, Gary? If you're comfortable even talking about it.
Severe aortic stenosis, they said. I'm very, very anxious about finally getting things straightened out with the attorneys to get my estate in order.
Okay.
I'm more worried about that, making sure that everything's going to be taken care of like that I am. I'm not really that much. I'm not worried about the actual passing thing.
Sure.
I'm old enough that it's expected.
You got loved ones though you care about, right, Gary?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Mostly my pets.
Okay. Pets are loved ones, to be sure. Well,
absolutely.
Well, Gary, you talked about Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm glad that you got the help that you needed to get off of the alcohol. If you had trouble with it, certainly that can ruin people's lives for a while. To be encumbered by any kind of substance use issue. But
I've been free from that since November 25th, 1984.
Hell yeah. Way to go.
Congratulations. I'm very impressed. As someone myself who's had a very negative relationship with alcohol in the past, but still considers himself to be an atheist, and as somebody who was an alcoholic as a theist, and also as a atheist, and somebody who then got a handle, I think is the best way to say it. I'm trying to be as sensitive as I can on this topic. With my alcohol, I didn't find that solace in a, quote, higher power when it comes to beating the alcoholism. I'm assuming that when you say you did a program, I'm assuming it was something similar to a 12-step program where one of the steps is you give yourself over to a higher power. I tried all that and it didn't really work for me. But what I found was that I looked at myself and I started to examine why I was going through the issues I was going through from a personal point of view. And I didn't find that I needed some deity to help me do that. I found that the hardest thing for me was realizing that I was the person in control of my relationship with alcoholism. Why is it that you find that you need more of a relationship with some form of deity to help you with that? I'm not trying to diminish this in any way, shape, or form, but I'm just trying to get to the granular level of why a deity has helped you.
Well, it was the initial. I was only 29 years old when I found myself in all this trouble and needed help. And it was absolutely because of my Christian upbringing that I started to try to develop this relationship with God. And like I think I said, the more that I worked on that, the more I became convinced that this God concept is not going to, it's just not presented accurately in the Bible.
Sure.
I continue my prayer, I continue my meditation, and it's just...
Okay, Gary, I just want to steer. I want to steer you back. I know you're in the middle of a thought, but really, I want to steer us back. I get why you don't think that whatever church that you grew up in was useful or accurate or reflective of the universe that we live in. I get that because that's where I am too. But you went to deism, and what I want to know is, deism is kind of like a prime mover god, a god that doesn't manifest necessarily in the material world. That's my understanding of it. An unapproachable god who doesn't really get involved. You don't pray to a deistic god. You don't have miracles from a deistic god unless it's the miracle, so said, of the existence of the universe. So what is it that holds you on to a deistic god? And I know you said that you needed to have one to help you with Alcoholics Anonymous and get a hold of your alcohol use. But what are your reasons for believing that a deistic god believes that there is a prime mover, that there is a supernatural being outside of space-time? What are your reasons for that? And then we're going to move on.
It's the god of the gaps.
Yeah, but the god of the gaps it's usually a pejorative term that folks on this show would say, well, you don't know the answer, so it's the god of the gaps.
So are you using your deism to fill in those blanks for you?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay, then.
What if you didn't fill in the blanks?
What if you accepted that there are blanks there?
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, I did. I mean, personally, I did that. I accepted that there were elements of blankness, and it was very scary. So if you were to accept these elements of blankness, what do you think it would do to you?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I would still be able to continue along my merry way.
All right. Well, that's what I was hoping you would say, because I didn't want to get too deep in here and disabuse you of your beliefs and then have you feel bad and cold and lonely and afraid. But yeah, I would challenge you, Gary, and all of us. I want to say this: Gary is not alone in this. We all have limited time left on Earth. Absolutely. Gary says he's got 1 or 2 years. I might have less. But for the time that we have left of us, let's try to shed ourselves of comfortable illusions by examining our beliefs and make sure that we have sufficient reasons for believing it, because it's amazing what burdens you can cast off once you get rid of certain I say fantasies, certain assumptions. It can
Certain
be
ingrained elements.
ingrained elements. We talked about this earlier with one of the earlier callers. The world we live in is multitudinously beautiful. The people, the relationships we have, the relationship with reality can be, I would say, as consuming as any relationship, so called, with a deity. And so, well, keep on your journey, Gary. I'm not going to try to deconvert you right now, but I wish you the best of luck. Call back if you have a change of heart on your deism and you want to share some of those thoughts. All right, we're going to move on.
Thank you for your call, Gary. Thank you.